Hey guys, welcome to Peak Levels for the 11th of April. I am Mark Coe. Wanted to go over because today's are actually kind of fun days. A lot of, I would say, tighter range trading, but man, did we nail some of these levels. So I'm just going to run you through here. Again, I want to talk about the roadmap that we aim to lay out and what these levels are really doing for you. I don't want there to be any confusion of what the purpose of the levels are. They are to give you the roadmap, the guiding point for your next trading day ahead. So these levels I'm going to show you, again, came out 24 hours ago, well in advance of them ever being hit. We're just going to run through and I'm going to show you kind of how they worked. Aussie dollar, first resistance, 75.30, never seriously challenged. The high in the day was 15. Look at support number one. Again, this level was on our screens before 5 p.m. yesterday on the 10th of April. Low of the day, 74.74. We were using 74.75. How do you like that? Tight market, off of support number one, 32-point bounce. Not too bad. Never any stress, level to level. Let's take a look at euro dollar. Euro dollar. Very similar type of thing going on euro dollar. Although euro didn't trade to the lows, it traded 4 ticks off the lows. But again, here's the idea of how to use these as a roadmap. If you're coming down to a support zone and failing to touch it, you have to start to look at the market and say, it can't even touch support number one. A couple of things that I would definitely look at from the day before. Okay, so this starts to make some sense. This is where the 70.0575 level really gets challenged yesterday. But look at the reaction yesterday. 2 tests into 0570s, right? You got them both right here. And then you managed to take out yesterday's highs and the breakdown area that took you under 106, the figure. So in the test in early Europe on the 11th of April, you don't even challenge those levels. So the way I look at it is that if you're starting to make higher highs above your support zone, you have to look at that market as being pretty well supported into it. So it doesn't make longs nearly as stressful. Now you think about it, this happened at 10 o'clock East Coast US time last night, and it was still at those levels by 3:30. So that's 5.5 hours to look to position alongside euro if you're so inclined. I myself had a longer term viewpoint of still wanting to sell rallies. It just didn't get to a very interesting level. But late afternoon, where did we trade? So resistance number one, 0630. High of the day, 0630. All right, so I nailed the low in Aussie dollar, nailed the high in euro dollar. We'll look at another one. We'll check out cable. Cable also did not seriously challenge support. Cable had a much stronger day. Where do you think cable traded to? Right into resistance number one. Not nailed it to the tick, but I think the high of the day was 92. Yeah, we've traded, let's call it 95. 24.90, right? So this is what we're looking at with the levels. So here's the point of the levels. Here's your support, right? Again, you had these 24 hours ago. Here is your support. Here is your resistance. Think about what the market looks like, right? Here's what the market looks like coming into early Asia. You don't know what the market's going to do. Here's what you know about the market, where you would look to play or where you're willing to assess trades. That's what you know. You never get a serious challenge of this support, right? You never get a serious challenge. That's telling you that it's more bullish action. So forget the longer term look, which is to say, we still want to buy pounds, right? That was what the whole commentary was coming into tonight. We still want to buy pounds on dips. Not a tremendous dip. So you had to be a little aggressive there to get it because it never challenged your support seriously. And you have to start to look at these zones which get created. Now this is after the market is actually open, so your levels are already out at this point. You have to start to look at those levels, and where the stress comes in terms of what do I do? Here's what you do. You play it level to level. So you realize that while the market is trading above support and on its way up, there's not much of a long opportunity because we're not chasing the momentum. So you have to look for bottom edge dips, which the only one that was really there was this dip down to around 10. So again, we didn't seriously challenge the 2390 support, but we traded right to resistance number one. So that's 3 market, 3 levels nailed. Let's take a look at some of the Futures markets, the E-minis was a great one. We stalled at support number 1. We traded right to support number 2. So here's what it looked like. Here are our screens as we walked into the day. Right? So that's the action as your levels come out. U.S. morning report just before 8 o'clock. So we're looking at support number 1, 23.40, and support number 2, 23.33. Those are the levels I'm looking at. Watch how the market trades. Right to support number 1, right? And reacts. Not massively, but it reacts off of support number 1. Trades up just a couple points and then slams through it. And where does it go? Right to, I mean, literally almost low tick of the day, 23.33, which then gives you a almost a 20-point bounce into the end of the day. Never seriously challenged resistance. The resistance I was looking at was 23.60. But again, roadmap stuff. The preference was to treat this as a range trade, which means at the extremes of the range is where you want to look to deal, right? It's where you'd want to look to deal. So here was the commentary for the E-minis today. E-minis trading comfortably within a wider 23.33, 67 range. 67's up above here. It never even traded up there today. So what E-minis gave you today, using this analysis, was the ability to buy the bottom of the range. Never once traded outside of it. That was phenomenal. 18-point bounce. 18-point bounce off that. The bonds. Bonds was another interesting one because it traded right to a decent resistance. But the bonds, here's what we're looking at resistance-wise, had a couple levels, 52.12, 52.20. So this was, here's your 52.12, got through there. 52.20 was nothing massive. But then the third one, 53.05. High of the day, 53.04. So you're getting the theme of what you're seeing with these levels. The levels, which is roadmap stuff. This was a pretty nice day because you're literally seeing them tick to tick to tick. It's not like that every day, but it is pretty nice when it is. And you have to realize the power of the levels, knowing that you're going to walk in. This is literally what your screens look like, right, when those levels are drawn. So it's the reaction saying, okay, we're failing to challenge support. Now we're going to go look at resistance and what is resistance doing. And so what it becomes is places to assess shorts or to assess profit taking. And that's really what you're doing with those levels. Crude oil, I would not call this nailed it. I wouldn't call crude oil nailed it, but you had a really good indication of where we wanted to look in crude oil. So the first resistance I was using was 53.30. So I'll show you one. I just showed you a bunch of markets that literally nailed it. Here's one that doesn't nail it, that just gravitates around it. This is about 10 ticks, 13 ticks above the level. Here's what it looks like. Support never challenged. If your support's not getting challenged, how are you tending to look at a market? It's stronger, right? As resistance goes to get challenged, what are you looking at? The ability to take profit. And if you want to fade markets, you can look to short, but I like to trade the trend side of the market, so I don't get into the scalping so much of the opposite side. I like to look at it more as a take profit opportunity. But what is the reaction to that level? Market hangs out right at the level. And so what I use these levels for is to understand where markets are likely to pick up action and activity. And that's what makes you so powerful in keeping you trading in a position of strength. So again, for the 11th of April, one brand new model position for the 12th of April, and that's it. The longer term model now has one position open. We just opened it today, and we'll give you an assessment and let you know how that's going tomorrow. But we just did open a brand new model position. And the long-term model's been performing really well. It's been quiet the last several days, more of a range market, but all in all, it's done pretty well. So hope you guys are doing well. Hope trading's going well, and we'll chat with you tomorrow. Cheers.